I think a lot. So I will say we have an excellent educational system in medicine where we do a great job training physicians to be exceptional providers of care, right? Like we have one of the best, healthcare systems in the country in terms of the quality of care we can provide to patients. And so it does well from that perspective. Where it is falling short is to be able to keep up with the rapidly changing employment models. And so, like I was just saying, the large majority of physicians today are employees of a large employer group or a private practice, or a PE-backed group. And so this notion of setting compensation for physicians is just new and is rapidly changing. And the education system has just not been able to keep up with it. Now, you do see, as a result of that, you do see many websites and blog sites and small startups out there that are trying to fill in this gap, right? So there are groups like the White Coat Investor or the Physician Sidekicks or the Prudent Plastic Surgeon who have created a lot of content around physician finance and whatnot to be able to support physicians, with this really important aspect because, practicing medicine is important, but there's so much that goes around that practice, for a physician to sustain, their practice, which is the business side of medicine. And so we're excited to play a small part in that as well by providing them all the other tools and resources they need. If you are a resident or fellow, the first thing you will do coming out of training is you're going to find a job, right? And then the first thing you'll do after you find a job is negotiate a contract that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And those are two really important decisions that can have almost lifelong impact, right? Like oftentimes the first job and the first decision you make is going to decide what the rest of your career looks like. And so we believe that is the most pivotal decision most of these physicians are going to be making. And that is exactly where Marit started, right? And so today we are the largest, most comprehensive, most detailed, and the most transparent data set for salaries and physician compensation. And we are also the largest, most comprehensive, most detailed, and most transparent resource for all of the job postings that exist in the market. And so this is a level of transparency that physicians never had access to in the past. So, today we have 100,000 users on the platform, but a year back, this didn't exist. And to date, besides Merit, there's no other resource where you can get this information. And so in the past, physicians would have to ask their friends or just accept an offer, blindly, or you may go to a third-party resource and pay thousands of dollars to just even get your offer evaluated, right? And so these are the services that physicians can get access to today completely free of charge. Same thing on the jobs on the job board, where there is not a single job board where you can find all the jobs. So physicians have to bounce around from one place to another to just make sure that they're covering every single job in the market. Whereas now you can go to Merit and you can get access to all of the details, not just all the jobs, but all of the details, included within the jobs. Yeah, so we are very excited to make MGMA and AMGA data available to physicians. So for the listeners who may not be familiar with this space, MGMA and AMGA are two of the most popular physician compensation benchmarks that employers use to ultimately set physician compensation. These are very high quality and robust, benchmarks that are also very expensive to access. Most physicians don't have access to this data, and if they wanted to get access, they would have to pay hundreds of dollars to just get access to the report. And so we are making these benchmarks available to physicians for their specialty completely free of charge. Now, for people that are closer to this space, you will know that there's no single answer to physician compensation. Depending on the employer type, depending on your setting, the kind of schedule you have, shifts, what kind of call structure you take, there's a lot of nuance around physician compensation. And so it is helpful to bring different data sources together to get a comprehensive picture. And so now physicians can access not just the data on Merit that their peers have reported, but also access both MGMA and AMGA benchmarks completely free of charge. And so it's 3 data sources that they get access to, which makes us the most robust and the most comprehensive data source that exists out there.